to the Man Behind Ministry podcast. As always, I'm your host, Minister Ryan Smith of the Virgin Street Church of Christ right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. As you know, we're in this awesome spinoff where we're talking to some of your favorite music ministers in the game. And tonight we have another great one on deck for us. He serves the Central Pointé Church of Christ under the tutelage of, we know him, Harold Robinson. And so we're blessed to have him on with us. And that's my good brother, my kinfolk, Mike Craig, man. You know him. He's a blessing to the ministry. He's a blessing to our brotherhood. And we can't wait to hear what he's going to have to share with us. Let's go ahead and hop into it, y'all. How you doing, fam? You doing all right?
Man, good, man, good.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you said in the intro, man, it's a blessing to have you on.
Yes, sir.
Anybody knows Central Pointé, synonymous with Central Pointé besides Dr. Dulin himself is Brother Robinson.
Yeah.
But, obviously, with health and things and progression and whatnot, we know one of the main people that we see on camera now is you. And so we're just blessed to have you on, just to represent CP and all that comes with the congregation, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Definitely appreciate you for even thinking of me to be part of this project, man. You're doing great things, and so I'm just grateful to be a part of it. But yes, definitely, man. It's a blessing. It's an honor to also serve under the GOAT.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Harold Robinson, and so he is definitely a visionary for this entire fellowship, for our entire anybody who ever, I say this all the time, whoever has tried to sing, you know the impact, or you should know the impact that Harold Robinson has made on all of us. So definitely, I'm privileged to be learning from him and all that entails. So,
Certainly.
yeah.
Certainly. You ready to get into this, bro?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Cool. I've mentioned before in prior episodes, I love a good origin story. It helps you really appreciate who the person is and kind of what led them to where they are now. So people see the end result of you. They see the live stream, especially with COVID, and I think they say it's getting ready to ramp back up here in a minute. But with live streaming become more of a thing now than it ever has been in our brotherhood. People see the end result of what's on stage, but there's an origin, there's a starting place. And so for Mike, what got Mike into singing?
Well, to be honest, I tell this story often. I've always loved music. Always loved all forms, all genres, any type of music. I also play the keys, keyboard, and things like that. So, but early on, I can remember at the age of seeing pictures of myself. Let me say that. I don't remember.
Okay.
But pictures of myself playing the piano or trying to play it as probably 3 or 4 years old. So I've always, I think, my grandparents, my great grandparents put that in my face, and just kind of went from there. But probably the most impactful moment that pushed me into ministry and music was probably when my grandmother, my mom's mother, we were at her church in Henderson, Texas. People probably don't even know what it is, the Southland Church in Henderson, Texas. And so the pastor at the time, and he's still the pastor now, but Edward Nolan, had asked me to sing. I was about 14 years old. He asked me to sing, and I really I hadn't been doing much singing, probably not at all, hardly.
Yeah.
Just here and there. But he asked me to lead. It was just a Sunday evening service, and I told him no. And I was capable.
Right.
Even at that time, but I just, at the time, I guess I was still trying to get, come out of the little shell and all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so I told him no. And so on the way home, my grandmother, she ate my lunch, as they say. And so, but one of the things she said, that's all right. You don't use it for God or whatever, he's gonna take it from you. He's gonna take that gift.
Yep.
And so that scared me, because I was like, well, no, I love singing, I love music.
You're right.
So, no, I don't want him to take it. And so literally ever since then, I have been trying to keep that promise to her, and then obviously to the Lord. So that really is what, honestly, if I had to look back on my life, that's what pushed me into taking it seriously, and actually using it for the glorification of Him, of God. So yes. So that's it pretty much.
Good stuff, man. Well, I know myself included, among all those in the brotherhood, we appreciate Grandma for holding it down and pushing you forward, as they say, man. So we definitely appreciate that. You're at Central Pointé. How long have you been at Central Pointé now?
July made 4 years.
Congratulations, man.
It was in July.
Yeah. Good stuff. Obviously, you've been there 4 years, but those of us who know you know you weren't always in the Metroplex. You were back in Longview in East Texas, under your father. So you're a PK, and so you have that dynamic there. And so you migrated from East Texas, and I know those of us who know you, follow you on social media, you love Longview, you love the Lobos, you rep hard. You know what I mean? I've seen it. And some of your suits had Lobos on your suits, man. Yeah. So you are a proud East Texan. But talk to us though about that migration coming from Longview under your father, then migrating to Central Pointé.
Yeah, it was more of a maturation thing. It was where it was a God move. I literally can't, because I as you said, I love Longview. I love my hometown. I never planned to leave my hometown.
Yeah.
And so that's how I know it's God, because He'll set things up, or and this is for anybody in general, but specifically for me, he will make it crystal clear of what to do, when to do, and where to do, and how to do.
Right.
It was so clear, and so I just had to move on His word. Because that's generally it. The change or the move itself was definitely stressful. It was definitely tough, because again, I was leaving my comfort zone. And but put my trust completely in Him, and still allow Him to guide and lead everything that I do, everything that I think of doing. So it's been great. I believe it's, like I said again, it's definitely a God move, and he has His hand on the situation. So pray that He never leaves. Pray that He never takes it off.
For sure. We definitely appreciate just sharing that, man, because it's hard to leave family. Hard to leave a place of comfort to then navigate into a place where maybe the lights may be a little bit brighter, a little bit more expected of you, and so we definitely appreciate you sharing that. And those who follow you, the ministry, the congregation, man, you guys are doing awesome things out there. So it's just a blessing to see. Like many of the guests that we have on the show, man, I wanted to be intentional about who I had on. Those who are movers and shakers in the brotherhood in terms of music ministry, worship leading, and you're definitely one of those people, man. So yeah,
appreciate it, man.
For sure. Before we jump just too close, too deep into ministry, man, I want it's just a laid back feel too, man. Football season is here, man. How you feel them boys gonna do?
Well, if Dak can play with
some consistency,
something. I'm gonna just go on the record and say I'm tired of Dak. I actually get, and I guess I should have more grace since God.
Yeah, man.
But no, that's really all. It all depends on Him. That's really where we are. That's really I love my Cowboys. I know you do as well.
Yes, sir.
And so, man, that's literally that's gonna show. We'll only go as far as He takes us.
Yeah.
I hate to put it all on him, but it is.
I mean, QB won for a reason, man. So the ball touches your hands every play.
Every play.
Now looking at that, man, I think I told Vince of course he's a diehard Cowboys fan too. I said, man, this is my last full year of support for Dak. Because you know, this is my last. He got one more full year of support after this year. You know, Jerry already said he gonna be with us for a while. I love Dak. Hey, we let go of Zeke. That was my dog, man. Hey, we let go of Zeke, man. We could have kept him around just for some morale or something, man. But
Zeke had done played out a little bit too. So.
Yeah. But I said Dak got one more good year from me, man. Because last year defense was there.
Yep.
Defense was set, man. But Dak's play.
Yep.
That was it.
So last year was my last.
That was your last. Okay. So
that showed me all I did. I was done. I said, I love you, Dak, but you're gonna have to go find somewhere else to play.
I heard you, man. I heard you. So looking back at the ministry component, man, been at Central Point for 4 years, man. It's obviously a well-oiled machine. You can tell they're underneath the end result of what we see on camera. There's a process. Every music minister, if you're a good one, you got a process, man. So talk to us about what's your process of working with the team, how you choose your songs, working underneath Dr. Dulin. Just kind of talk to us about that.
Yeah, generally, as far as choosing songs, if I start there, obviously you have to know the culture, you know, and that's culture, and that's of any, you know, any place, wherever you are. Yeah. And so that helps, knowing the culture, and then implementing those songs that I actually pray about them a lot before I even choose one or say, hey, this will be good or whatever the case. So God kind of helps me in that as well. I don't try to sound holier than thou, but I don't do anything regarding anything, but especially music ministry, without first consulting God. So generally from week to week, it's really just obviously a repertoire, a rotation of the repertoire that we have built of songs, and then obviously talking with staying in close contact with Pastor throughout the week, and you know, maybe something that lines up with his sermon, and I know things of that nature. And so we're literally just setting it up from there. Then again, at the same time, I'm big on during the actual worship moment. I'm big on not being locked into just what we've rehearsed or the songs that we've chosen, because I'm a big component of listening and being sensitive to the spirit and to the atmosphere and to what God is trying to do. Because there have been many times that we've had songs playing and we may not even get to the song, or as we say, you know, in our fellowship, the song before the sermon, the bring me up song. For lack of better words. And we may not even get to that song sometimes. And the song that we had basically started for our communion is right before our sermon. So that song usually sometimes takes us all the way to the word. Because something is happening. God is doing something in the room. And it's like, ooh, how insensitive would I be to move away because well, this is what I had playing. So I got to do this song because this is what it's bad. And I'll be honest, there have been some songs like that we've had slated for a sermon, and I'm like, ooh, you know, and I mean, you know, have a great spirit of expectancy for it, but God had another plan prior to, and I have to get out of the way, and that's the biggest thing as far as any leadership role, but especially music ministry. You have to die to self, not only daily. That's a whole other story. You have to die daily to yourself. Worship daily before you even arrive on Sundays. You have to have already worshipped the Lord the whole week as a worship leader. If you're going to lead worship, well, some worship should have happened prior to you arriving to church. I've been on that kick for a good minute here now of trying to help us understand how important not self worship, but private time of worship when we, prior to coming to church. That's big because as I've said before, on many occasions, if you're doing yourself a big disservice, major disservice, if you are not in the Word weekly, praying. You have to spend time with Him before Sunday gets here. I know we put a lot of emphasis on worship, Sunday worship, but our lives, worship is a lifestyle. Our lives have to portray that as literally as much as we possibly can, so that when you get here, the time here is seamless. It's nothing's perfect, but it's just you're saturated in worship, saturated in the Word, and it just makes corporate worship, so much easier. There have been times, and I'll tell on myself in my earlier days, that I was unworthy to be in front of His people. I'll be real. I was completely unworthy of it. And I find myself falling in the flesh. How you see your worship leader gripe, "Oh, y'all didn't want to sing today. Y'all didn't come." Well, no, your spirit is off, brother. That's what I'm talking to myself. My spirit was off, and so obviously it's not going to connect. It's not going to lead God's people in the way that it should. And so I know I pushed a lot of ramble right there. But,
you good.
But all connecting under the lines of worshiping with God prior to coming together, to even plan for a service. Planning can't happen properly without first properly worshiping the Lord. So
no, that's good. And you said a mouthful. 2 words that I really gathered from that, for those who are viewing, that are going to help you in ministry regardless of your capacity. 1 is preparation. 2 is flexibility. Even when you got stuff prepared, be flexible and give room for the Spirit to have His way. Because the Spirit is trying to urge or push this way, and you're like, well, no, this is what I planned. Well, then is worship about God or is it about you? You know what I'm saying? So So now, good stuff, man. It's just beautiful just to kind of see again the method, that goes into the machine. So we definitely appreciate it. And then it's, another thing just about Central Point now that have, you guys are really trailblazers. I know you've been for 4 years, but the church itself has really been a trailblazer, because a lot of churches who were against praise teams, having women on mics, now it's become a lot more common. And let's just be, while we're on this, this ain't even a part of the skeleton, but while we're on that, we got to give major props to Central Point for blazing that trail, not been afraid to stand on the liberties that God has blessed us with. And this thing, we could have always done it. We always have the biblical liberty to do it. We were just scared, or our faith didn't lead us there. You can coin it how you want, And so, but it's just amazing now how it took a pandemic to really push that forward. And I think that's one of the reasons why Central Point is so successful and is ahead of the curve, because they've been doing it from the jump. Couldn't tell you how many, and they, y'all know it better than us. The letters that were written about Central Point, all that crap, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's just amazing now how the rest of the brotherhood, those who have adopted what Central Point's been doing for decades now, they now got to eat crow. You know what I'm saying?
That's a topic that I've talked a lot about over the years, and anybody that knows me, or especially in our circle, I definitely talk about that a lot. I look at it as more now where we are, as believe it or not, when I was real young, I prayed a prayer, and the prayer was, "Lord, please open our eyes." That's exactly what I said to him. Because I'm also a licensed funeral director, so I've been my dad.
That's my whole next. We ain't got to that point. The suits and everything. We'll get there next question.
So, but because of the affiliation with my dad, and he's on the funeral home since '91, and so I've been able to see so many different denominations and so many different methods of worship and praise and preaching. And so it was, I always question, and this is just a quick little, at the age of 10, I had questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Lord, I just heard the same sermon at such and such Baptist that my dad just preached. What's going on?
Right.
And these were things I really never even talked to my dad about. And God was already dealing with me at 10. And I believe he was showing me, trying to show me, hey, get ready, because this is going to be the I hate to say battle, but it is what it is. But to see where we are now is you have to pay homage.
Yes.
To some that are not with us anymore, but those that some are still are. You have to pay homage to them, because to arrive now or to start now and have the spirit of we've been doing it.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that in anything, but especially in something spiritual.
Right.
So you have to pay homage to, obviously, I said Harold Robinson, who paved and even paved this. He paved this way for us to follow. And then as well as many other ministers of music that were had the liberty enough to flow with, and then obviously our preachers. I call him Old Man Reginald Dulin. Yeah. He was masterful in his vision, and then obviously his Rodney as well, Pastor Rodney Dulin. There are many others that I don't want to name because I don't want to forget anybody. But we all know who they are.
That's it.
Right? And so we just have to. I feel like we have to pay homage to the ways that have been made. And I'm in no way shunning anything or any of our history. I love our church. Where we are, but at the end of the day, when we know better, we should do it. To whom much is given, much is required. So that's all I'm saying. It's definitely a blessing to see and to know, and to basically to see where we are now is such a blessing. Definitely.
I want to put this plug in there too, because a lot of times when we talk about being more liberal in our expression of worship and faith, I want to put this out because I grew up in a very conservative background at my home congregation, and we've expanded a little bit as well. A church who is more expressive is not a knock on another congregation who's a little more conservative. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
And I said this recently to another music minister. I think we have done where I am really putting us all kind of on the accountability stake, if you will, is that we have done a huge disservice to what God teaches or what God understands as unity. When you look in the scriptures about unity in Ephesians 4, Ephesians 5, it talks about unity amongst the diversity of gifts. Unity, yes, we have our core beliefs. We believe in God. We believe in the gospel. We believe in the Trinity, X, Y, and Z, right? But unity is not, we literally have to all do the same things. No. That's not unity.
Right.
Unity is saying, okay, hey, we have our core beliefs, but our expression of worship may be different, but we're still one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's even with the Godhead. You have the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. They're all different, but they function as one. They're unified as one being for the same purpose. And I think, we have gotten lost in the shuffle over the years of, we're not unified unless we're doing everything exactly the same way. And I'm like, nah. I mean, that's not even how marriage works. Like, if my wife was just like me, we wouldn't be married.
No.
And so it's learning. Unity is learning to appreciate differences and learning to work together despite differences, whether it be function, capacity, giftedness, whatever. And so I do want to put that out. And so whether you are you fall, you know, if you want to use labels, if you fall on more of the conservative side or you're more on the liberal side, that doesn't make us not one church. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. Let me speak to even the labels first. Let me say that there's no such thing as a conservative and a liberal anymore.
it's a human thing. That's why I said
COVID.
you saw me.
No. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with with those labels because you know, obviously we didn't create those labels,
right?
You know, but it was just kind of a. You know, but so what I'm saying is, COVID killed all of that.
Yeah,
right.
It really
Let's
did.
say that. Let's say COVID. Let's just put that on COVID, because here it is. There's no more liberal, there's no more conservative anymore, in my eyes. There's either going forward or you're not. And so, however that looks, and so there's, you know, we have to push the kingdom forward, right? And so I often, you know, obviously we battled with that prior to COVID. And so, yeah, it is easy to get, because I felt convicted and conviction sometimes when you get too high. You know, back when this move was first started, you get a little too high on being liberal, trying to wear it as a badge. And it's actually, you're actually almost creating the same cycle of what you're basically fighting against or from. If that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying?
It makes perfect sense.
And so I always I shied away from that as much as I could. But generally, if it's impossible for us all, as you said, to look the same. It's impossible because personnel matters, you know, location, you know, a lot of variables that determine it. I always say this, and I've mentioned this at some workshops and things, you know, music workshops. Praise team is not everything.
Right. Some people can't do it.
Understand what I'm saying when I say that? Yes, it's wonderful. Yes, it has its perks, but giving glory to God is not like dependent on just a praise team. And it's not dependent on one person of leading worship. It's about the heart. It's your heart posture. And so again, I say to even the church that maybe won't, churches that are striving to do praise team, or don't get caught up on that.
Right.
Because it's not the end all be all to church ministry. It's menial. It's very minor. In the sense of, in the scope, the scope of real ministry. You understand what I mean? And so seeking the lost. And so I always mention that, you know, as in regards to our difference of preference and things of nature. Everybody can't. It's just impossible for some to do what another is doing and whatnot. And we all, I look at it as like, you know, God knows what He's doing. He knew what He was doing, because we can't. Central Point can't reach everyone. Right. We can't, and that's what He created us all for. You know, our goal is to reach. We're trying to basically save the world, for lack of better. For Him, you know, for the kingdom. And so it's impossible for us to reach everyone. Virgin Street reaches a select few of you know, and so it's how do you say, it's divine, or it's basically set up that way for God, you know, for us to reach those that we that He has for us. Because again, it has to be presented in a way, the gospel has to be presented to all. Right. And so it's impossible for us to be that perfect that we can grab everybody. So So that's
good. That's good. That's good. That's good. And we pray just through that dialogue that someone's blessed by it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not lesser if you're on one side of the coin, or you're not greater. It's just, you know what I'm saying? And Mike said it well. God knows what He's doing, you know? And so it's just learning to appreciate difference and still work towards that unified purpose of honoring God and saving the lost for His glory. We can't get out of here, man, without talking about, you mentioned obviously the impact of the funeral business that your father and your family's been a part of, man, but also a big part of ministry is appearance. You know, we have to appear a certain way, and you got your own clothing line, man. So kind of talk to us about your custom clothing, man. And every time I talk to somebody, they're like, man, I'm about to treat myself to one of Craig's suits. I ain't got one yet, but it's coming. It's coming, man.
We'll get you. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been doing custom clothing for about November will make about 8 years.
Okay.
But it's called Craig's Custom Clothing, and we just specialize in suits, dress shirts, slacks, all manner of gentlemen's clothing. I'm eventually going to branch into the women's side, but that's something, I'm trying to
That's
get
tricky.
on.
You got to really get that right.
Yeah, so let me master gentlemen's clothing first.
Yeah.
Then we'll deal with the ladies as soon as possible. But yeah, it's, I've always loved to, obviously funerals, and had to growing up. I was 6 years old when I worked my first service, so I've known suits and been, I've dealt with suiting and things like that all my life. And so, man, God led me into that, back in around about 2015, 2016. And it's been a blessing. It's actually been, I can't complain at all. And so, definitely, you can, what you wear, as Dion says, as I love it. If you look good, you play.
That's it.
But yeah,
I think you got some Colorado apparel, man.
Actually do, yeah.
Yeah. Shut the frown, man.
Yeah. But as he says, a suit can make you feel like $1 million. So I've always, just loved to look good, love to dress well. Yeah. And it's like, hey, why not try to help as many of us as we can? Yeah. So it's very, very affordable. I pride myself in being affordable custom wear, because custom suiting is, can be expensive. That was one of my goals in starting, was trying to keep it reasonable for the average man. So yeah, man, it's been a blessing to branch off into that, and man, I love it. I actually do. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and we'll make sure for those who are on, we'll make sure, of course, we support not just the ministry of the church, man, but you personally. So we'll make sure we have those links for those who are online in the description. So support my boy. He does great work, masterful at what he does, whether it be with, of course, the family business, the ministry at Central Point, and then, of course, just his personal business. So well-rounded individual, man. So we appreciate you for what you do. Lastly, we can't get out of here, man. There may be some colleagues on, some individuals that just want some more insight, man. And so what's some advice you could share with those who are aspiring to get into music ministry? What's some final words you could share? I would say those that are trying to get into it, or leading, or having inspiration or aspirations of doing this, is to first examine yourself and make sure that you are listening to God, listening for His direction in this, because it may look easy, to those on the outside looking in, but all of the guests that you've had will probably agree with me when they say it's not easy. Nah. And so just, I know it's easy for us to look at it and, I want to, but it takes a lot of prayer. Yeah. A lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of worship, a lot of time spent with God to do this. I know too often times we have not put much emphasis on music ministries in our fellowship, but it's very, very important that, and I'll say this, it's very important that we are in our word, and that we know that we are reading our word. My buddy Phil, I'll quote him on this. He said, music ministers, as we always compare the preaching to the music and the music to preaching, there's no comparison. Let's stop. The word is what saves us.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Music and singing is good. I've said that many, many times before I open up church, or right before the word is coming. The music is good. Singing is good. I love music, but the word is what saves us.
Yeah.
And it's what keeps us. It's what, So I said that to say is that he said that music ministers or worship leaders are the first to present theological references in a worship setting.
That's good.
So why we should, so that, basically requires us, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
To be well-rounded in the word.
That's good. That's good.
And just, to know our word. So I the first step is just getting our heart right.
Yeah.
And getting into this is making sure that you want to, the reason you want to do this, and to know the reason why that you do this is all for God.
Yeah.
And so I that's generic, I know.
You good, man. You said some good stuff, man. Believe it or not, you did. You definitely did.
But it's all about him. Like that's all I can say. It's literally all about him. Nothing else matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
we lead with him in everything that we do. We lead with him in everything that we do.
He's spoken like a true PK, man. Yes, sir.
He was a seek ye first.
Yes, sir.
And he'll line up everything else. So seek him. Everything that we do, he'll line it up.
Yeah, for sure. Man,
Yes,
we definitely appreciate you, man, blessing us, and just taking the time to get with us, man. A lot of insight, a lot of background, again, a lot of methodology, which is what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Because we see what's on screen, but hey, like you said, it's a process. For sure. Lastly, before we go, how can we find you in the ministry on social media?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Mike C. Craig. My clothing company is Craig's Custom Clothing on all platforms. So, as my boy Dion says, I ain't hard to find.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Definitely. Shout out to Coach Prime. Hey, keep making them believe in Colorado.
Yeah. Appreciate
Definitely,
you, man.
Yes, sir. Again, we appreciate those of you been rocking with us this whole time, man. Bless you for being with us. If this blessed you, you found value in this content, don't be afraid to like it, share it, subscribe to it, man. That way, whenever we release content, you'll be the first one to get it. We do this every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until the next episode, we'll see you then. God bless you. God keep you. Peace.